All right. Good stuff. Okay. So we are live. This is going to be our weekly show. So I'm joined this time with Phantoms goalie, now out of an Xbox Hollywood, joining our
Oh,
show. And
oh man, you didn't have to say that. You didn't have to say that, Hulu man. I mean, God knows enough. You gave the beatdown on there this Tuesday night, putting me in retirement on there with the Xbox going down. Oh man,
So yeah,
what?
basically, what we're gonna cover is just we're gonna start off obviously with patch notes. I got those pulled out, so we're gonna go over obviously how we feel about those. A few of them I really don't know a whole lot about, so we're gonna go over those standings, trades, some of the other drama, I guess you could call it, that was what's going on in the league. So we're gonna get
Yeah,
into it. So starting
oh,
with
yeah.
patch
Emo
notes.
meltdowns, man. Emo meltdowns, man, going on. If you thought my Xbox thing wasn't, oh man, there's a lot, lot of other stuff going on here. Just week number two, that's for sure.
For sure. So, all right, gameplay patch notes. We're not going over presentation World of Chell. We're going to keep it simple. Gameplay. That's what affects us. Kind of even go over maybe opinions about how these changes maybe affect competitive leagues like Moose and LG and stuff like that in the middle of our season, right? So here we are again with another patch that we have to get used to. This time around, in my opinion, overall, not really too much changing. In fact, I think there's more being fixed than there is changing. So the first one, they fixed a rare case where the puck would stop dead when they passed or shot around the boards. I've never seen that in my life in this game, so maybe I'm just lucky in that circumstance. But I've never seen that, so they did say it's a rare case. So have you ever seen that, Hollywood? Just curious because I've
Maybe
never seen it.
maybe in front of the net, man. By the goalie. But I don't know about the boards, man. I mean, I'm glued on that net. But yeah, I mean, if they're saying it did or it did happen, I'm sure it may have. But it's good that it's fixed because you don't want the puck be stopped against the boards there and you go on a breakaway or something like that.
Yeah.
So
So what? Even the case, even if we haven't seen it, whatever, good fix. So this is kind of where it gets interesting. Various intersection logic tuning, which pretty much just leads right into the next one. There isn't really a whole lot to say about that. Reduce player ability for pickups outside skaters' field of view, and one hand behind back pickups. So they do not play as often and unrealistically fast. Uh, Man, this is going to be the hot topic on this patch note. Uh, I mean, I don't hate it, but I don't really like it because in my mind, your field of view is your camera angle, right? I mean, we're not. I know we're controlling a player, but ultimately, we don't have control of the extremities of the body of the player. We can't turn his head back and forth or his fingers or twist his wrists for him and stuff like that. That's not the way you play the game. So in
we're
my
not in
mind,
virtual reality yet, man. We haven't hit that
yeah.
yet. You know.
But my point in that is that if you're skating towards the player, regardless of where your face of the head of your player is facing, and you're skating towards the puck where you have an option to intercept it. A lot of the times, even if it's you could be skating this way and the puck's coming from the side, of your peripheral vision, and they won't intercept it. And I saw that a few times just playing yesterday. So not a huge fan of that. But this is where it kind of makes up for it. Is in this next patch is where the defensive awareness attribute was made more effective in those field of view windows. So um, defensively, now for defenders more so, you have another thing to kind of make up for. You have to be looking now at the puck towards the player, so you can't be intercepting it. And there has been times, just playing the game where in front of the net, everyone's experienced it, where it's gone right through your skates, you're right there in front of the guy, your stick's right there, whatever. So now even more so, if you're not even facing the guy, it's more unlikely to intercept the puck. So defenders are going to have to kind of step up their game and make use of that defensive awareness being adjusted in their favor as long as it's in the field of view. So and then again, it kind of leads into the next one: improved player head tracking of the puck. So that's kind of what I was making a point of about the peripheral vision. If the puck's coming across your field of view, the player has been obviously adjusted, and they say improved to track the puck. So it sounds like they're trying to tune it in a way that is going to be favorable for everyone, and in the overall picture. So I guess there's much to be seen here, because I haven't even played today. This came out, I think, yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. So not super familiar with it yet, but just in the games I've played, not a fan of it. And then this is a little bit more up the forwards alley here. Players tuned to have less balance and preparedness when pivoting or back skating with the puck. One moment. And I didn't really notice it a whole lot. I play a bigger build as it is, so generally speaking, my guy doesn't have a whole lot of balance to begin with. So he has massive puck control and strength and stuff like that because of the size, but I didn't see a huge difference with it. So I guess that's one of the things I'm just going to have to figure out as I play along here. Fix the issue where holding pass would negate spins from working, which opened up holes in the skating blends. Yeah, that's way above my head. I've never seen that before. I would never spin while holding pass. Maybe you have. I don't. It certainly wasn't intentional, but fix that, I suppose. Fix an issue where slap shots in the defensive end would target your own net instead of the left stick direction. So I personally have seen that before, so that's a good one, because especially for people who may not play with a group of players, outside of league and drop-ins, particularly if you're a drop-in player, that people try to score their own goalie all the time, and that is hopefully going to fix that. But also, even trying
I've had a few players shoot on my own net, so
and even accidentally,
not
right?
intentionally. Yeah, man, like trying to clear it, around the boards and stuff. But and I've let some of those in. I've let a lot of goals in lately, but nah. Right. But I just want to point, just backtrack a bit. You mentioned about the defensive awareness and tuning. I don't know how much they reduced that on there, because I haven't been able to get on because of somebody on here on the show. But I've heard a lot of guys mention this about that in the chat, though, about the ability. I mean, I like, as far as I think it's kind of cheesy, man. I like, being able to, I think play position hockey, be in the position to get the puck on there where a guy just grabs it behind, nothing. Tune it down. I don't know how much they did, but I always, think gameplay wise, you got to be in position, face the puck, to get in. Same thing with the shots here, man. The if you're shooting on your own net or different direction, so that's a huge fix, man. Because nobody wants to give up one of those goals, man, or you end up on the not top 10 plays of the week.
Yeah, I really hope these are more fixes than they are, messing with other traits and stuff like that. But obviously the big one for me is the field of view interceptions, and it sounds like it's such a small minor thing, but to players that play in leagues and competitively or play it daily or whatever, it's a big deal. Especially if you're a defenseman, or if you're even if you're just forechecking as a forward, now that affects you a little bit. So Anyways, moving on to the goalie stuff. Further improvements to cover for puck or to covers for pucks underneath the goaltender, which kind of another lead into the next one, which is fixed a case where the goalie would continuously lose a puck when performing between the legs cover. Yeah, I mean that's that's one that we've been asking for since the beta. I hope it's fixed. I haven't seen it yet, which is a good thing. But again, only have played a few games last night, so I have not seen that yet. And then fixed a few cases where the puck was able to slip past the goalie unintentionally while they were tight to the post. Yeah, we see that type of stuff all the time. You know, the goalie just simply isn't able. You know, you're not able to control the extremities of your players, right? It's just a video game, so you know, that type of stuff has to be fixed by small animations. So hopefully that is fixed, and they increase the amount of stick contact on legs and skates needed to cause a trip. So I really enjoy this because I think we can all agree, whoever plays defense, forward, whatever, it's pretty ridiculous. I mean, you get tripped over practically nothing. So obviously we know that hockey players, especially professionals, are good on their skates and strong on their legs. So there's no reason why a little stick tap is going to trip someone up. So I'm glad that they added that. So yeah, I mean, this is your section, man. What do you got on the goalie stuff?
Well, listen, listen. I mean, I love that they're doing stuff with the goalie because I'm telling you, man, NHL 20, it's not goalie's best friend at all, man. I mean, it's God, man, I don't know, maybe NHL 12, NHL 13 or 17 was a good year, man, but 20 is very rough, man. As a goaltender, I mean. And we even had to implement a rule about like the poking and stuff. It's gotten to that point, as a goaltender, and if you can't cover the puck, it kind of sucks, man. I mean, I think I even did it during our series, man, that night. At one point I was like, maybe I shouldn't cover the puck, just let the clock run down, man. But it's nuts, man. But I like that they're looking into it. They know there's issues on there, because obviously there is, man. And they're trying to fix it. But how much of the fix that, I don't know. Like I haven't been able to get on. Maybe we could get some comments, questions. We're also monitoring the chat there, guys. So if you're on the Twitch account there, live watching this live in there, if you guys got any comments, questions about the patch, let us know on there. But yeah, I mean, anything they could do to improve the goaltending here in NHL 20 would be much appreciated by Mr. Hollywood.
Yeah. So I guess we're just gonna go into. Do you want to do trades?
Oh man. Okay. Yeah, we could jump into that, man. There's been quite a lot. A lot of guys can't even find the trades on here, man. I mean, there is a transaction section on here, right? On the Discord.
There is, yeah.
Okay. Because there's been quite a few, man. Quite a few trades going down, man.
Yeah, I'll pull it up real quick. Hold on. So I'm just gonna go over the ones that I mean, a lot of people already know of them, but
which one I want to talk about, but I don't know if you want to talk about that one.
I think I did not mention.
No, it's not. It's not that one. It's not that one. All right, go ahead,
man. This was a while ago. Everblades get Lebronto for shooting pucks and Dreamer to the Oilers. Lebronto is now co-captain with Frosty since Hoodrat left. We'll cover that a little bit. Railers trade Dad's Life for Leathery Cow on the Griffins. And then obviously one of the bigger ones here, San Jose receives Bo Horvat Jr. and Furry Pujols for Vanny and Ayo Lucky of the Colorado Avalanche. So that obviously was I guess not really a surprise. A lot of people saw it coming. Both players asked for trades. Pretty even in my mind. I mean, I view both of those guys to be pretty good players, so I think they're pretty even in skill level. I give the edge maybe to San Jose in that one, just because they got Furry Pujols. In my mind, great guy, decent player. So I don't know a whole lot about AO Lucky. So you give the edge to San Jose on that. Do you have any comments on that one? I know that was kind of a
I also
big one, I
that
guess.
definitely was a big trade going down. I mean, 2 for 2. I think that the package deal, the Sharks, I think did end up getting the better end of the trade on here. But Colorado needed a big time player, so they went with Vanny there, and hopefully, he. He steps up, and this Avalanche team, man. I don't know how many of the original Avalanche guys are on this team, but they,
Hmm.
uh, from like the original draft, you look at this team, maybe what evolution on there. Besides that, I don't know. It's
Right.
uh, it's definitely reamped, and they did like a whole 360 switch on here. And I mean, at one point, I mean, it's good. I mean, you got to do trades if things ain't working out. You know what I mean? And but then I mean, you look at chemistry on here. It's very hard to build up. I mean, we're already done with week 2. There's not that much weeks. It's a short season. So, but I mean, I see why the Avalanche made the move on here and stuff. But I still say Sharks got the better deal with the 2 punch on here.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, just like Odie mentioned in the chat, Bo did end up obviously leaving MHL. But either way, just as a trade wise, I think at the time Sharks maybe just slightly win. Moving on, Jay Resnick moved to the Avalanche for Chet on top of the Ice Hogs. Uh, Chet on top, I don't know a whole lot about him. Jay Resnick, don't know a whole lot about him. So I can't really comment a whole lot. Minesweeper,
Chet's been on a move for this is what, it's like second or third time being switched off. Because I
yeah.
know he got traded before this, so
I mean, he went for
he's on
18
the
bods, so he must have been at least somewhat sought after.
yeah, yeah.
Which is, I mean, sometimes that is a strategy of captains to draft trade bait. Especially if they know that someone that they wanted got drafted by someone else. They might draft the guy that they want, so they could work out a deal later on. But anyways, Minesweeper went to Wichita Thunder. Turk 609 went to Buffalo. Uh, Pretty interesting deal there. Buffalo probably needed a defenseman. Turk is a pretty decent defenseman. I think he played on one of my LGCHL teams. Uh, Pretty good player. Minesweeper is a decent player. They retained 4 bods on Turks, so he went down to 16 bods. A little bit more respectable that way, but overall, I think Sabres win that trade. I think Turk is a little bit more valuable on defense than the centerman and Minesweeper. So moving on to the good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Turk's definitely much well known. I don't know much about Minesweeper, but
Hmm.
Turk's a guy that's definitely been around. But Sabres needed a good pickup on here because I mean they started the season all right, man, but they've been struggling, man. So I see why the move here, and they went with defense.
Right. So another big trade got posted today at 6, so a couple hours ago. Counter trade 3-way. Ducks get Maserati. Grand Rapids Griffins get Dirty Guapo, and the Worcester or War. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Worcester. I don't know. Railers. They get Czar, also now Mox. Yeah, I mean, I think all teams win in this one. Grand Rapids Griffins gets a much needed good defenseman, even though he's part time. Can only play, I think, 2 games a week or something. And then the Ducks get their boy. Maserati's played with Finn and Coherent Gamer forever, so they just add to their depth there on center and left wing. And then the Railers get Mox. So it's a guy that's been in the league plenty of times before. He's put up pretty good numbers in the past and seasons before I got here. But that's, I mean, in my mind, I think is a pretty good trade. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this got to be a big blockbuster trade, man. Especially when you're involving three teams on here. A triple trade off here. Big time players, man, in here. Well, one thing I got to mention though here. I mean, this guy Mox, man. What happened here? I mean, he started off with on Tampa, right? Originally drafted with Luckton and Tampa.
Yeah.
I was very surprised that I don't know how many of you guys were surprised that Luckton traded this guy off initially, man, from that team. Because didn't Luckton and Mox win a cup, man? Together
Yeah.
on the same team. You know what I mean? A couple seasons back, but then he trades them for. I think he traded for like SBDR
Yeah.
before, right? And then now Mox again on the move again. So I'm kind of surprised with that, man. But so Raylor's got him on there. I like the pick up there with the Griffins, even though part time, but I think Walpole is gonna do some good things over there, and the Ducks locker room is pretty happy. I'll tell you that.
Yep. And moving on, I forgot to mention one of them between the Sharks and Royals. Actually, pretty big news was Upshaw for Costa, also known as 88 now. I mean, I think both teams win. The Reading Royals get a much needed full time defenseman / forward utility player, and the Sharks get a much needed higher end defenseman in Costa. So both teams win that one in my mind. So I think that one's pretty much dead even. So I think obviously the Sharks got a better player, but he can only play Thursdays or something like that because he's in the school from what he told me. So anyways, I'm trying to find the trade that involved the Gladiators. That's the one that I really want to go over. They have these everywhere, man.
You gotta update this thing, man. I mean, it's they got to make that tag that works, man. You put trades and it pulls it up, man. What transactions, you know. It's good. It's good to see that stats finally are being updated, though.
Oh yeah,
I'm not gonna complain here.
Now that I'm going through, dude, I missed a bunch of them, man. Yesterday, Beerus gets traded to Florida Everblades, and the Rangers get Ekblad and Buck Nasty Dave. So, shoot, I mean, I don't know a thing about Ekblad or Buck Nasty. I know Beerus very well, one of my better online hockey buddies.
Surprised the Rangers made that trade though, man. They were doing pretty good, man, and I don't know if they jumped the gun on there a bit, but I liked it. I liked how they were playing, man, throughout the season, and and they took Beerus in the draft, man, early on, and then for them to switch to make the move. I don't know, and I heard the Everblades, even without the ex-captain there, are actually playing pretty good, man. They won the last two series, so.
Yeah, I mean, Everblades are obviously in the middle of a rebuild. We're probably going to go over that drama next. I don't know. I'm not sure why they thought it would be a good idea to get rid of Bruce. I mean, it seemed like he fit in really well. Everyone liked him. They he liked them type of thing, but
sometimes when you're too nice of a guy, maybe that's what it was, man. Like we don't want this. We're gonna move Baruz out of here. You know what I mean? He's like the Zach Morris of the Moose Hockey League on here, but hey, I mean sometimes that happens, man. Sometimes captains, I think jump, man. Like they lose a series here or there, and they're like, all right, we got to make a move, man. Trade deadline coming up here in 2 weeks and stuff, and hey, I mean, Rangers drafted a great. I love their draft, man. I can't complain, man. So we'll see. We'll see if this trade pays off. I don't know much about those other two guys as well, but
Right. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I guess I don't know enough to really say who won that trade, but Everblades get a reliable guy, part-time, so I can't find that Gladiator trade, so we're just gonna have to skip over that for now. We're gonna go into
Maybe it got vetoed. Maybe it got vetoed.
yeah, I'm not even sure if it's approved or not, so we're just gonna skip over that for now. We're gonna go into standings here, so I have those pulled up. We're gonna keep it pretty simple. Obviously, just by telling it the games played, we know everyone has 16 at this point. So I know Satan currently is putting in stats as well. I got on him. He just got home. He's doing those right now. But if I refresh the page, there's probably some more games in there. Yep, updated to 14. So he is in the middle of doing that. But anyways, number one on this list, Calgary Flames, captained by Raceboy. Kind of right where I thought they would be in that top 3, top 5 position. And I know Tampa Bay won both of those games last night, so I think they're 15-1, so they're actually number 1 right now. But I'm just going to go in order. Tampa Bay, obviously captained by Teaspoon, now has SBDR, has Ambell, Luckton, and Elegant Mullet. I mean, they're slated exactly where we thought. We've been saying it since day one. They've only lost 1 game to Atlanta thus far, so that brings us Vegas, captained by me and Jules. We had a pretty good week again, 6-1-1 on the week. We were 6-2 last week, I think. But ultimately, you know, we're playing well, and we're just gonna keep trucking along, hopefully. We played Anaheim last night, split with them. That was a fun series, captained by Gamer and Finn, I believe, and they got Coherent, VMAT, it's Q, Burn and Smoke, a couple other players. Can't think of right now. They're doing well. I mean, there's no reason to think that the team that pretty much brought back their full core. Now that's the other guy. Czar is who I was thinking of. They have Czar now. Anyways, yeah. I mean, they went to the finals with Tampa Bay, so I mean, there's no reason I would think that they would be outside of the top 5. But again, they have another game to put in, but I think that one was a loss, game 2. So moving on to Atlanta. They are captained by Owen and Woody. They're pretty much exactly where I thought they would be, in the top 5, one of the top teams. Obviously, this page is the top 10 anyways. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not sure how they did last night, who they played, but they're a good team. I mean, I've played them a couple times in just warm-up games, just matching up against them, and you know, we won 1, lost 1, so I think they're gonna keep trucking along. They have a really good core. Yakov and Disney and Owen and Woody up front. It's pretty good. So moves on to the Red Wings. They lost 2 tough ones to Colorado last night. 11-5. So they have all their stats in, 22 points. Looks like they're scoring a lot, 87 goals for. So but they're giving up 52 goals, which is essentially the 3rd most in the top 10. So not doing great defensively, but they're also not the worst. So they're doing a good job. 11-5. I thought after the draft that they were going to be probably in this position, top 10. So I expect them to keep trucking along here and do pretty well. So this kind of brings me to the surprise team, I think, in my opinion, but maybe not so much having Shooting Pucks and Dreamer there. But I'm not sure how they did. They're missing 2 games, but they're 11-3. I don't think I saw that coming. I had them slated outside of the playoffs, probably more of a mediocre team. So that's really impressive. That's really good stuff. So Clumsy Ninja, I believe, is their captain, with Victory is mine. So kudos to you guys, doing really well. So hopefully you guys keep trucking here. Rangers, missing some games. They're being inputted right now. Captained by Mayers and Saint Gator. We played them this week. 1-1, lost 1 in double overtime. I think this team's going to be real good. I'm not sure who they play last night. I think they played the Phantoms, actually. So I know that those were probably 2 wins, unfortunately. Sorry, Hollywood. But they're probably going to jump up the spots here once that gets updated. But, yeah, I mean, they have Tanaka. They now have Ekblad and the other guy. Can't think of his name, but... Mayers and Spliffendrum, so they have a bunch of guys that play together pretty frequently. So I expected them to be in a top 10 position as well. They're a pretty good team, so I expect them to keep on going here. And then another team, I think that was a little. I mean, it's not like a surprise. I mean, they're 8-7-2. It's not like they're creaming anyone here, but captained by Owen and I think Rod Sidious, if I'm not mistaken. But they have some good players in Korea who was Sea Turtle and a couple other. I can't think of their names right now, but ultimately, I thought on paper they look pretty good, and they're they're in a top 10 position. And I know Owen is really itching to do a good job captaining this season. So kudos to him and Rod there. Obviously 8-7-2, not the greatest, but. I forget what the division that they're in, but I think they're in Tampa Bay's division, if I'm not mistaken. So they have a decent division to play in, but good for them. They had a pretty good draft. So moved on to Florida. Obviously, people know now that Hoodrat has left MHL. Posted a thing in the forum chat. I'm not sure if that got deleted yet. Yeah, stuck Frosty with the team. LeBronto's now the co-captain. He's making moves. Kudos for even being in the top 10 after, all that. So I didn't think they had the best draft to start out with. So maybe that sparked a little bit of the separation, I guess, between Hoodrat and MHL. But ultimately, it's not like they're doing terrible. They're in the top 10. So luckily, there's 4 weeks left to turn it around and really push for a good spot in the playoffs. So, we're gonna move on here to
Hood. Back to about the Bears, man. Yeah, they are in Tampa's division on there. They actually rank number 2 right there in that division. So even with an 8-7 record, because the teams below that, you got the Everblades, you got Thunder, and you got the struggling Ice Hogs. So they are ranked number 2 on there. I just want to mention a little bit about the Edmonton Oilers, man. A lot of guys sleeping on this team. I even saw a post, an image maybe like a week ago where they felt teams that were in the playoff hunt, teams that were hot, teams that were on the bottom tier and stuff, and they put the Oilers pretty low on there. I think are a very underrated team on here. If you check their schedule, like you check their last couple series that they've played, man, they did make some trades, man. They did swap out players, man. They I know they ended up getting some forwards there. They ended up getting a superstar on that team as well, where they took like 3 series in a row, man. And then they had a tough loss, I believe, last night against the Lightning, but they were without the goaltender and they were without the center on there. So that don't sleep on these guys, man. Do not sleep on the Oilers. I think they got a good squad out there, man.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't really too much out of place based on what I thought after the draft. So,
I got messaged on here regards to when we mentioned about the trades. That guy Chad on there. Initially, he was the guy that I believe got traded for Superstar, and then before Title quit out on there, and then that's where the move came about. So, if anybody was wondering, yeah.
Yeah, and just now Odie mentioned that they are on an 8-game win streak. So it even says right here, 8-game win streak. So, yeah, doing great. Wichita Thunder, number 11, 7-6-1, captained by Scrub and Felty Pack, I believe. So they have Jay Hubbs, drafted him for pretty high bod value. Heinen, I believe now. A couple other players, Koopy Poopy, Poopy Soupy something. I forget his name, but they also have Oakland Dad. Middle of the pack team. I kind of thought that's where they were going to be. Middle of the pack team. He's currently in the process of trying to make some deals, so I think he might be changing up his roster here soon. But either way, Scrubs, he's playing goalie, so just looking down this list, I mean, they have the lowest, in the bottom half of the league, but the lowest goals against on this page. So Scrubs a good goalie, so there's no he could steal some games is what I'm getting at here. So and also they're missing a couple games. I'm not sure how they did last night, so it's very possible that they won 2, and 9-6-1 sounds a lot better than 7-6-1. Moving on to the Sharks, they definitely made some moves. I think more so in their favor. Their team's looking pretty good now, roster wise, and not without changing up too much of the core. They're missing 2 games. I'm not sure how they. I'm actually going to pull that up because now I'm interested. But either way, didn't start out super great. I already mentioned that in the last podcast. I'm looking for the nightly scores here. Sorry.
Are in the Sharks, man?
Sharks. Yeah. Well, they lost to the Swamp Rabbits the first game and won 10-2 the next game. So they are, 7-8-1. A little disappointed with considering their roster. I thought they were going to be pretty damn good in the top 10. Actually, I thought this is kind of where Edmonton's position was going to be. So they kind of swapped spots as far as prediction wise, but I think they're going to turn it around. They have the squad to do it. Brooksy and Chucky's doing well on their team. Costa is going to be a big improvement. So ultimately, I think they have Furry now as well. So they have a decent roster. So they're going to be a tough team to beat going forward. Rockford Ice Hogs, that's Zero's team. They have their games in 6-9-1. Pretty much where I thought they would be. They have that Wake the Fuck Up kid. He's pretty decent. Trying to think of the other players. I don't even know who's on their team, to be honest with you. Do you know, Hollywood?
Railers?
No, the Ice Hogs.
Oh, the Ice Hogs. Well, I mean, you got Surprise Me. You got Pogs on there. Zero. Solid goaltender they got on there, but I don't understand why this team is struggling so much, man. I really thought they had a solid team, solid front there. A lot of guys that played on the team before and stuff, but they're struggling, man. I mean, look at their record on there, below 500. They got some big wins here and there, but they're not consistent at all. And I thought they were going to be a lot better than they are right now. That's for sure.
Yep. I thought they would be a little bit better than where they are, but I thought them to be a more mediocre team even after the draft. But moving on to the Worcester Railers, captained by Piggy and Blue Liner, I believe. They're missing quite a few games here, so not exactly sure where they are as far as points, but I thought them to be a mediocre team as well. They have some good pieces in there, but no superstars, no one that's really going to carry them anywhere, but it's possible. Again, we're not even halfway through the season yet, so there's a lot of games left to be played. There's trades yet to be made, and a lot of captains in this position, I assume, would be looking to make some moves to try and get someone that can push them to the next level here. So
The Royals started off not too bad, man. That first week, I mean, it's a team that could come and could beat any of these teams, man, any given night. But lately, something's not clicking on there for the Royals. I mean, they've been struggling pretty bad. I don't know when the last time they won a series, man. So, were they like 2-8 last 10 games? Not gonna win much, man. So.
No, I was looking
Some
at the Railers. Not the Royals.
Railers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, Railers. That's an up and down team, man. I mean, they're 500. Right now. A lot of veterans on that team. But nobody really stands out, man. Nobody's really getting much goals on this team. So it's they keep the games close, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, analytically, yeah, they're gonna need to make some trades to get someone that's gonna. I mean, on this page, they scored 45 goals. That's not enough.
That's not no.
Enough. But after
that's what I mean. Like,
I think after the Railers, this is kind of where the drop off happens as far as teams and their difficulty, their skill level, maybe. Reading Royals 5-11, 16 games played. You can even tell just by their plus minus. I mean, it goes from -8 to -41 here. So, not really a great team. They had Costa. Everyone knew that he didn't really want to be there. But they do get Upshaw, which is a full-time utility player. So I think that's an upgrade for them. So I think going forward, they're going to be slightly better. They've actually fared pretty well, I think, considering their roster. But yeah, they're not going to be a great team. So
when the season started out, man, there was a lot of Royals in that chat room, man, going talk about here and that, man. They started off 3-3, like I said, man, but last 10 games, 2-8. The real Royals are coming out right now, man. That we all thought. So
yeah. Colorado, captained by Evolution, who is actually now, I guess we can make the announcement now, is an MEC. So he will be taking over MEC duties for Moose. 4-12. We've all recovered, what happened there. Master had to leave for school. Title had to quit for personal reasons.
Train wreck on here, man. I mean,
it's unfortunate.
Talk about an avalanche. Avalanche definitely fell down, man. On here, holy shit, man.
I mean, at the end of the day,
congrats to Evo, man. Congrats to Evo. I mean, he's he's been in the league for quite some time, man. So getting that spot, and it's not an easy task here to take over this Avalanche team as well. I mean, all the stuff that's gone through from beginning of the season before we even dropped the puck this season, and I'm surprised they're 4-12, even at that.
Yeah, I mean, the games we played against them were very pretty. I mean, they're also -33. So, honestly, it's just more admirable that Evolutions is taking it over and doing a good job. So, Greenville Swamp Rabbits, they're in our division, 3-10-1, have the least amount of goals, second least amount of goals in the league. Again, -46, not doing well, not really a good team. Made some small trades, I'm pretty sure. Last 10, they're 1-8-1. Not really a whole lot to say, not doing well. Grand Rapids Griffins pretty much in the same place.
And the Rabbits, 2 of the 3 wins there were against the Phantoms, and probably 90% of their goals.
There you go. So, Grand Rapids Griffins 2-13-1. They got their games in. -52 on the season. I mean, wow. Yeah, not doing good. 1-9 their last 10. I know that they're in the midst of making some trades. So obviously they have now Dirty Guapo. I think that's gonna help a lot for them, even though he's part-time. But they need someone to get rid of this 83 goals against stat here. So Buffalo Sabres, they only have 13 games in, so they may have won some more here, but Till this point, they're 2-11. They probably were slated to be close to this category, but I didn't think they were going to be that close to this category as far as the bottom of the league. But again, they only have 13 games in right now. The captains haven't put in their stats, so that brings us to the Phantoms, Hollywood's team. I mean, worst team in the league. What can you say? Negative 67, far and away, even just from the second closest, which is negative 52. They've only scored 21 goals. It's the least amount in the league. They've given up the most amount of goals in the league. They're 1-9. They did get their win against Colorado, I think, last week, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I wasn't even in that there. That's but yeah, no, I'm glad they got the win, man. You don't want to go winless, man. That's one thing. Definitely when getting that win, boosts some kind of confidence on there. I'm surprised with the Sabres, man, to be that low, man. I mean, if you take the Phantoms out of the equation here, they're right at the bottom there. So I thought they had a pretty decent squad there. Not all the way down that bottom. That's one of my most surprising out of looking at the bottom six right there. That's pretty low right now. So
yeah, we're gonna. You want to get into stats here?
They got guys that could score too. So that's why I don't know why the Sabres struggle continues like this. But
yeah, you want to get into stats here, Hollywood?
We could. I hope they fix, man. I noted some key errors earlier today, but I think they fixed some of those. Evolution had like 120 saves in one of the games, man.
Yeah, I think they did actually fix that. I was looking at that earlier, cool. So I'm gonna head there now. I'm gonna kind of skip over Steve and Gecko because they've only played max 2 and 4 respectively. So. First one, Superstar. Is he still even playing in this league?
Well, that's the thing, man. A lot of people don't notice he got moved around. Nobody. He's quiet as it is, man. Even in parties and chats on there, he's playing for the freaking Oilers, man. He's on the Oilers squad, and a lot of guys don't know that until they play the Oilers. Like, oh shit, how the hell did he end up on this team? But yeah, he's there. He's there, and one of the reasons why the Oilers have jumped up in the standings, and I think will continue to leading up to the playoffs. So yeah, that's where he is. That's where he is. That's where the stats are on there as well. He's mainly played most of his games on the Oilers. I know he started off on Colorado, so his stats might not be all that great, but ever since that move, they jumped up there pretty good.
Yeah, no kidding. He was a lot of people were saying one of the maybe not so good goalies in the league, and now here he is with.
As far as the draft, I agree with the comments. I mean, there's no way a goalie should go at that rate, and especially he wasn't even gonna be slated to play in that on the Colorado Avalanche when he was drafted. So that was just a dumb move of don't pick up on the draft, and maybe Masters saw like, hey, this ain't gonna work out here, and he took his bull and left, man. I mean, and then you got, now Evo's got to pick this up on there, so I kind of feel bad for the Avalanche on there, but yeah, superstars on the Oilers, man. Don't sleep on that team, guys.
Yeah. So Satan Gator, that is the owner of New York Rangers. I've always viewed him to be a really, really good goalie. Looks like the stats might be a little messed up because that should be. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm reading that wrong. He's 8.67. I was looking at the 8.87. Just below him by 2 points there. So he's played 11 games. He's missing some games as well, so he's putting in stats right now. Great goalie. Never really had a doubt that he was going to be at least a top 5 goalie in this league. So moves on to my goalie, my co-captain, Jules. He's missing a couple games. He's at 8.67 save percentage. He's allowed 26 goals, so doing really good. Not really a whole lot else to say about him. He's been a really, really good goalie for us, and that's part of the reason I decided to co-captain with So Wisco Redley, I had no idea who this guy is. Apparently Finn and Gamer did when they drafted him, or they may have traded for him, now that I think about it. But he's doing pretty good, 8.66 save percentage. Played in 9 games, obviously his starting goalie, or one of them. On a good team with the Ducks, so they were a really good defensive team last season. They're a good defensive team this season. Elegant Mullet, 8.66. I already knew that he was going to be probably up here in the top goalie section. Not really a whole lot else to say. He plays on a great team. I don't think even if he was on a less skilled team, he'd probably be in a similar save percentage. He's a pretty damn good goalie. So Comatosis or Comaticus, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's only played 4, so we're just going to skip over him. Play your positions. Pretty sure he was a right D, but he doesn't have any points, so it looks like he hasn't played any at D. But regardless, 8.59 save percentage. He's won 6 games out of the 9, so doing pretty damn good, I'd say. And
he's facing a lot of shots too, man, on that squad. So
yeah, 156. Holy moly! Yeah, 9 games nonetheless. So quite a few shots, if that's accurate. Yeah. Off 2 Tims. He has won 1 game in 6, but he does have a high save percentage. So he does play in the Rabbits. Probably stole the 1 game outside of the Phantoms. Against Sharks, I would assume, but obviously, having a good season stat-wise outside of the win category, but he's not on a great team. I'm gonna move on to Azarov here, who was part of that Gladiators trade I could not find, but he is now a Gladiator, 8.35. He's won 4 of his 6 games, so he'll keep on trucking here. Redskin Stallion. Was one of Gawa's sleeper picks, as he likes to say. 82 save percentage. I kind of view 80 to be that mark where you want to hit as a goalie. Kind of like 90 would be in like real hockey, where okay, like if you get 90 save percentage, you're like an average goalie in the NHL, in my mind. But that's kind of where we are as far as goalies. So I forget who is next here. I'm going to go back to the stats.
My top 3's got to come down to Superstar, Gator, and Jules so far on here. I mean, Superstar definitely with the experience on there. Jules is playing great for you guys, man. I mean, a lot of you guys have a great offense, but I don't think they get much respect in Jules in that there. I know we struggled trying to get when we finally got in that offensive zone. He's solid, and it's great that he's a co-captain, because I mean, you could play all 8 games, each week. That's the good part of having a goalie as a captain or co-captain, but Gator's definitely my favorite on here, man. You look at the teams, that we mentioned on here, as far as the Rangers, I don't see them as more of the some of the topper teams on there, but he's having a phenomenal season there for him.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know a whole lot about Superstar, but there's quite a few. I put Elegant probably as number 1 there, followed by Satan and Jules probably would be up there. But we're gonna move on to defensemen.
Elegant's got 4 assists, man. 4 assists on the season. Right?
Yeah, he does play every position, so I'm sure they're letting him play a little bit. They do have 2 goalies, so.
Who said goalies can't get you points, man?
There you go. So, defenseman, this category is rated by plus minus, so it's a little skewed. I guess you can go by a few other like takeaways and giveaways, which they will be adding. A little birdie told me into the stat. Right now, plus minus wise, Georgia Boy. Again, he plays on the team with the most goals scored in the league, so not really a super mega surprise. I picked him up late in the draft. Been a good player for us, so I continue to play him until he proves me otherwise. But yeah, he's been on the ice for some of probably our lesser skilled games. But either way, he's been great. So Race Boy, who's played all 16, I think this is a little bit more impressive at 30. plays on one of the better teams. Lockdown defenseman, one of my boys. I love Race Boy. No surprise at all that he's in this category.
He's having a phenomenal season, man. For
91
the
hits too, and the most in the top here, the top 15. I'm only going to go through the top 10 here. So Hubs is next. Again, he hasn't played all the games. He's been only playing 4 a week, but he's been slated against the tougher teams we've had to play. So and so obviously some of the other teams, but 29 plus minus, followed by Cougar at 27, pretty much in the same position. Those are what I view to be my top D-men there. So Gal Like a Boss at 5. He is on another team that scores a lot. I think kind of fits into maybe Georgia Boys category where it might be, obviously this is judged by plus minus. This happens to be on a really high scoring team, but that kind of brings it into Tragic, where I kind of feel like Race Boy and Tragic are both really good defensemen. I think Tragic plays in the A and the LG, but maybe I'm mistaken. He's played 8 games, 23 plus minus, doing really well. RLO, I forget who he's on. I think he's on Tampa Bay, if I'm not mistaken. He's played 6 games, so it's probably one of their part-timers, but he 21 plus minus. I'm not sure who he's playing against, but doing a good job. And then Luckton sitting in at 20. I know that he has some other commitments outside of video games, so he hasn't played all the games, but no surprise he's only 8 games at number 8 here with 20 plus minus, and right behind him tied is Coherent Killer, so they're sharing that 8 spot. Played a couple more games than him, but Coherent, another really good defenseman I think in this league. So and then sitting at number 10, Willard the Great, another looks like one of their part-time defensemen on Tampa Bay at plus minus 18. So it's a pretty good names on this list. Obviously it's a little weird kind of going by plus minus. I'm actually going to do it by hits now that I'm curious here.
One guy that you didn't mention, Mr. Kush, man. Mr. Kush for the Bears, man. Great offensive defenseman, man. I mean, this guy not only plays defense, man, but puts a lot of points on the board as far as scoring wise. And that's why the Bears, I think, a lot of the wins to him. He's got like 3 game winning goals. So, man.
Yeah, we're gonna. I mean, he wasn't on the plus minus list, but that's kind of why I want to go over the hits here, at least the top 5. So Race Boy's leading that category by a mile, 91 hits, followed by Gao at 64, and Kush number 3 at 56, followed closely by Quinn Man and Jets Killer at 55. So obviously those are the big hitters. Maybe you can see where the hitting's maybe not doing them too many favors here, but as far as the plus minus on Quinn and Jets Killer there, but either way,
they got to track flybys, man.
There you go. All right, moving on to forwards. Just like the rest of this stuff, a couple games missing, but Teaspoon had number 1 by a little bit here, so he is, and I'm sure that he scored plenty more last night. 74 points and 14 as of before last night's games. I had 14 and I'm sorry, 16 or 68 and 14. Followed by Embel, who's just been lighting it up well with Teaspoon. Not really a surprise. It's 55 and 12. Frosty looks like he might be missing a game. Not sure if he played that or not, but he has 50 and 15, so he's doing really well.
So that's the guy that carries that team on his shoulders, man. Frosty Nightmare.
Yeah, played a ton with Frosty, and well, not a ton, but I did play a few games with Frosty and LG. So a lot of forwards wides. There's a lot of forwards doing really well this year, so it's really cool to see.
Yeah, you look at that Florida team, and well, Frosty Nightmare. I saw one of the games from last night. I believe it was. They lost the game was like 9-6, but Frosty Nightmare got all six of the goals, man. So
Yeah.
I mean that's what he brings to the table, man. But we'll see what happens with the remainder of the season.
Yeah, I think with obviously we went over the trades, he's making some moves. So right guy for the job as far as captains go. Iverson, he's sitting at 48 and 12 as of yesterday. I'm not sure if he played or not. Looks like he played all six this week and last week, or this week and the week before. So, obviously doing really well there. Miniwick has 46 and 16. So he's been kind of I guess, my surprise player in here. I really didn't think he was going to pop off like that. So I viewed him to be more of like like a 2 points per game, 2.5 points per game player. Not sure if that has to do with his line mates, but either way, not to invalidate anything, he's having a great season. So good for him. Finn also having a really, really good season. He has 45 and 13. He's one of my old LG buddies as well from last season. So I'm buddies with him, like Finn a lot. Sheldor, not sure if this is up to date, but he has 41 and 10. So he's having a season. Owen, he's plays. I'm not sure if he plays a big build now or if he's still playing a small build, but he has 41 and 14. He's doing all right. Breadman, also known as Dainty Pup, has 40 and 12, so he's having a good season. Last five are pretty close together, only held by 2 points. Brooksy, Victory is Mine, Shotgun Shell, Clouds, and co-captain of the Rangers, Mayers. All good players. Shotgun Shell has been good for us. Clouds is, their entire first line is in the top 15 here. So, and then Victory is Mine, I think, is another surprise player for me. I haven't played a ton with him, but I didn't certainly think him to be a 3 points per game player. But even in this league, but he's doing a good job. So I think overall the MHL forwards are very deep this year in past years. But you have any comments?
Well, about Victory, man, that's the guy that they were missing last night against Tampa. So you take Victory as superstar out on there, and that series might have went the other way around. So, Victory's playing great, man. I mean, I like that guy. Same thing with Iverson. Iverson for Detroit, except for last night. I don't know what the hell happened last night with that team, but against the Avalanche. But both those guys having phenomenal season here so far. I think they'll continue. With the next weeks.
Yeah, I think Iverson overall, I mean, he went for like 6 bots. And the concern obviously was that he has attitude problems, but obviously those have shored up, or at least that's what Gao is saying to us. So moving on, we're gonna go to, I think it's biggest hitters overall, so it's including forwards. We have Fearless Legend. I'm not sure if this is accurate. I guess someone would need to tell me this in chat, but he has 112 hits in 4 games. That cannot be right. Someone must be messing around. It must be like 12. They must have fat fingered one or something, but that's true. That is absolutely insane. Absolutely wild there.
They must have done what Title Town did with Evolution saves. Yeah. Nah, that can't be right.
And Iverson coming in close here. Not only one of the top point scorers, but also a big hitter, 105. I come on well behind him at 93. And then Race Boy right behind me at 91. Hi, my name is Ed at 71. A little bit of a drop off there. He's always been known to be a hitter. Gladiator out with 65. Surprisingly, he's only negative 14. So on a team like the Royals, that's actually not too bad, I don't think. We already went over Gao here with the defensive thing, but he had 64, and he's one of the top plus-minus guys. Woody, he has 60 hits. he kind of changed up his game a little bit. At least from last year when I played against him, he did not play super physical. So kind of a change of pace. I think he's playing a bigger build now. I would have to ask him. Not sure about that. Vanishing Point has 58 hits and 10, and then Koopy Poopy has 57 and 10 here. So the rest of these are again held down by 2 points. Mr. Cush, Jess Killer, Quinn Man, Jay Resnick, Spliff and Rum. Spliff and Rum was another pretty physical center. Plays a big build, at least when he did against me in our team. But yeah, big hitters. That's always a fun stat. I think we have the sin bin to go over. Did you have
about the big hitters? I mean, you got 2 Detroit guys up there, top 10. You got Gal and you got Iverson on there, but you also got to look how much time they spend in the penalty box. Iverson got 105 hits, but he got 17 penalty minutes, and Gal has 20. And that could be a reason why they might not be doing so good as far as the standing wise. Iverson, if he's off the ice, he's not going to be scoring. Even with the 17 penalty minutes, he's got 26 goals, 22 assists. But take some of those penalties down. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean they are 11-5. I mean 11-5 isn't really that bad. It's pretty damn good, I'd say. So.
But I don't know, man. I mean that Avalanche game kind of series,
Yeah, that's smarts for sure.
It's gotta worry you. It's gotta worry you, man.
Yeah, I mean you lose. I mean,
unless they took all those penalties during the Avalanche series, I don't know.
Yeah, you're not gonna win all series. You certainly would have at least one series you're gonna lose to a team that's maybe not as good as yours. But
I'm surprised Race Boy got that many hits and he's only got 6 penalty minutes. So.
That brings up our no list here. Leading the category, you just mentioned your boy.
Thank God they don't have a goals allowed leaderboard.
So he is 20 penalty minutes. I assume that some captains are probably just not putting in their stats as far as penalty minutes because that seems like pretty low.
He's also got 16 games played. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not everybody's got. You know what I mean? So he's got more games played than a lot of the guys here as well.
Yeah, but I would assume that's probably one of those stats that captains probably skip over. But Yakov is actually right behind him with less games played, so he's obviously one of the big penalty guys. And even further behind him with half of that at 6 games played has 19 penalty minutes is Yorktown.
My God.
And then BC Retton has the same amount in 11.
That could explain why Yorktown went for 1 BOD, man.
Yeah, probably not a guy I would have picked up, but ODQC, who is listening, he has 17 and 12 games. I only played 1 game against him, but high in the penalty minutes, not necessarily the best thing. You just mentioned him, Iverson, same stat, 17 pens in 12 games. Shooting pucks, this is no surprise to me. I thought this is where he would be. He plays a big old enforcer build, 17 pims in 7 games. It's quite a lot. Surprised me. Also, one of the bigger hitters has 15 and 6. And then Uzi Skirt has 15 and 10, followed by Bear to Adjust, who has less than desirable stat line here with 15 pims in 7 games. Then just like the rest of them, this is filtered out by less than a point. I mean, there's 5 or 6 guys tied at 15 pims here. So, and then myself, I'm here at the bottom with 14 and 14. I've been hitting the PIM stat there a little bit, so I guess we could talk about now that we got over stats, maybe a little bit of the drama. This is your area, man.
Oh man, it's 9:00. I hope everybody's all the younger kids out there are asleep by this time, so we could, discuss that. But yeah, no, a lot of stuff
Hmm.
went down, and involving, and especially involving captains. I mean, we mentioned throughout the show what the Avalanche team had to go with, with Taito and Master on there, something you don't want to see, but there was more drama that transpired here in week 2, man. You know.
Yeah, I think the one that's the elephant in the room, Hoodrat, has now left the league. Uh, he is starting his own league, which is overall what he is trying to do without leaving or throwing people under the bus or saying anything bad. But he had messaged me, why he left. I'm going to keep that private because it's not my business to share. But he had his reasons why he wanted to leave, and it just sucks. You leave Frosty, who's a good guy, one of the best players in this league, sitting on an island with a team he didn't even really want to draft. He didn't get any of his players, but through some trades here, he's starting to get some good players. So I really hope this proves for him to be a little bit of a comeback story. So I know people are going to want him to do well.
Can Frosty even communicate with his team? I thought he's French, man.
He is French, but he speaks English very well.
Oh, okay, okay. So he just makes believe when I get into his parties, but uh, but no, I mean it sucks. I mean, listen, I haven't, I didn't know Hood Rat as much. I mean, I just came back this season on here, but I've seen what he was doing, what he was trying to do with the league, and for a guy like that, it sucks that the outcome would happen here, because he not also played in league, not also captain, but he also did a lot of stuff in the media, a lot of stuff in the back on here. But the one thing I got to comment on here, Hoodler, is just uh, the thing that gets me is he's a captain in the league now.
Right.
Here's the thing, man. I mean, when you're captain, if he wasn't a captain, let's say he was just like a regular player, I don't think it would have been as crucial on here where. You have teams being drafted to this team. I mean, you have teams playing. You have other players. Sometimes a lot of rookies came in actually this season, and they see
Mm-hmm.
this, and they see like a captain that just done leaves. You know what I mean? On there, it doesn't put a good impression for the league. I feel bad for I mean, for the community, for the MHL, for guys like Blue Liner that put a lot of work and time into a league like this for that to transpire, for that to happen. You know, you sign up for the league, being a captain. That you want to take a team on there. The seasons are short too. Now, I've been captain before. I mean, this dated back years back. And I've also done media. On the team. I could see where. Sometimes when you try to do a bit too much, it gets overwhelming. That you're like, oh man, and or you lose the love for what you're doing on there. But the thing is, you got to finish the season off. Whether you got to stop doing media, stop doing that on there, or anything other stuff. Stop dating girls. Stop going to the I don't know, whatever it is. You've got to finish the season though. You got to you're as the captain on there, or you got to give something, some kind of notice, not just like boom on and then here take over the team. And I think that's where it was wrong for him to do that. He pretty much just took his ball and left. And it doesn't put a good impression. Whatever he's trying to do or he's doing now or wants to do, that's his thing on there. I'm not going to get into that, but he just don't. It's you don't do that, man. You don't, as a captain, whatever. I mean, he might have done a lot for the league or a lot of good stuff, but this, it's a no-no, man. And for the Everblades, it sucks, man. It sucks, for the guys that have to now, go through this on here. I've heard a lot of different things of why he left, why he didn't want to, whether it was, like I mentioned, too much on him on there. He didn't want to do it anymore. Whether it was the 3 series in a row that they lost on there. Trades that weren't going his way and stuff. So, but the bottom line is on here, he's gone, he left, and the way he did it on there, was not good, man. Because what if you down the road want to come back or you want to play in the Moose on there? You pretty much kind of got rid of that bridge on there, and over one night on there. Um, I don't like it, man. I don't like it. I like I said, I don't know the guy as well. I didn't know him as much. You know what I mean? We've talked to here and there in the chats and stuff, but you got to play the season out, man. No matter how, that's what you signed up for. You signed up to be a captain and run this team on there. And you don't just take your ball and leave, man.
Right. Yeah. I mean, as as one of his buddies, it's definitely disappointing to watch. I think for people that know him, he is obviously high flying, very energetic, talks really fast, tends to exaggerate maybe a little bit. But overall, I mean, he is a good guy. I think he put himself in his own situation. He takes over media, he takes over a team. I mean, even that right there, if you're gonna sign yourself up with that type of responsibility, you got to be prepared.
I've been in that spot before, man. I've done the same thing too, where in the past MEC actually would be like, Hollywood, we can't have you captain anymore because it's too much, and they would see it around me, the way I react or the way I would do stuff. Because you get backed up in media. There's, especially now that the way how big the league is with the amount of players and teams, and the stuff you have to do in media. Now you got to cover a lot more teams, a lot more highlights, videos. So it does take its toll on there, and maybe it just got too much on there. But that's when you gotta be like, all right, I'm put a hold on the media stuff, because that's an extra bonus to the league, But you gotta captain the team, man. You gotta play the season out. Whether you're a drafted player on there, it goes the same role. It's not like you don't get it off the hook just because you're a captain or just because you're a player on the team. You know what I mean? Or you got traded, whatever.
Right.
You take a team, you finish the season. Like I said, they're not long as it is. I mean, we're already jumping into week number 3 here, so you only had a few weeks to go to. But if the other stuff was too much or it was causing the problem, that's where he should have stepped down. Maybe he had too much pride into what he was doing with the stuff and didn't want to do that, and he was kind of juggling two things at once.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just super suspicious. It's clear that he did not have a great draft. I mean, and it's not like he drafted like nobodies or a bunch of bums or whatever. But you look at his stat line, even just looking at it now. I mean, 16 points in 11 games. It's not like garbage, but it's not good. And then he quits. It's all too coincidental, I guess. So for me, it's, again, you can only say it louder, I guess, at this point. It sucks, it's kind of shitty, but I guess you move on. And then you guys, like Frosty and Evolution even, are now taking over teams that kind of are left in their lap. But good on Frosty. I think they're going to turn it around, and they're still in a top 10 position. So it's got to be motivating, at least a little bit.
I mean, they still got Frosty. That's the thing, man. So I mean, the opportunity is still there. I mean, here's a guy that's gonna win you games, regardless. And then they just got to get the players around there. And I think they've done well, actually, the last 2 series. If I'm not correct, I think they won their last 2 series. So who knows, man?
All right. Is there anything else you want to go over besides that?
Just want to let everybody know, because the Moose American Hockey League actually starting off this next week. They had their draft this past weekend on there. We got 6 additional teams on here for the AHL.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a thing to watch on there. Then we got like over 300 signups altogether this season, which is crazy. And what Blue Liner has done on here in this community is just tremendous. But as the league grows and gets bigger like this on there, you're also going to be faced with a lot of issues and stuff like this, a lot of different types of drama and stuff. It comes with the league, but I think so far the way the leagues has been handling things on here has been great. It's going to happen on there. We learn from things as well to evolve to get bigger on here. And as far as media wise, I'm looking to bring a lot of stuff in here as well, man. We got these shows on here going on. We got your highlights and stuff, but there's a lot more to come now that we are also getting the stats posted on there. I'm looking to do a lot of things with the stats things, with the leaderboards on there that'll be posted on the website. So look for those.
Yep, and for those of you that do not know, Finn will be taking over as media guy, so he's kind of taking over Hoodrat's position. So he's already been very, very active and doing some stuff behind the scenes that I don't think people have seen yet. But
he's great with the graphic wise, man. I mean, the guy does a phenomenal job as far as
really good job.
Well, that's the one area that I kind of lack into. I come on here, do the podcast and stuff, do your videos and stuff on there, but he does a very great job. You guys seen maybe some clips of previews of like player cards and stuff on there. That's all him, with all these logos and stuff. And I don't think he gets as much credit as he should be because he does a lot of these stuff in the back like that.
Yep, and just for anyone who's still listening, this will be a weekly thing, so I'll be in charge of doing the weekly stuff as far as this show is concerned. So I want to bring on guests every week, at least one or two of them. It doesn't have to be a captain, or it could just be a player. But I'm not going to take on guys like Bo and Vanny, right? I mean, those are two bums. So or guys like maybe Satan Gator and B-Roos, they actually have good opinions on stuff and say, "Oh, you suck, they suck, everything sucks." So, and then also the other thing is, if you guys have any suggestions on what we should talk about, besides going over the kind of the run-of-the-mill standings and stats type of thing, definitely drop me a DM or just let me know, and then we could try and work it in there. So